Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Here is some important news. There are many veterans being affected by the VA and a potential overpayment, and the letters are coming out now, right before the holidays, and it is a scary situation. So the headline here is, and again, look, if this does not apply to you specifically, please watch this anyway. I put it in the background and just let it play for the several minutes that it's on, because it will tell YouTube to keep pushing it out. And it's important to get this type of message out there to bring some awareness, because there are many of our brothers and sisters that are being impacted very negatively. So that's, I guess, my plea, right? All right. So look, many hands make light work. The more that we work together to get things done to help those that are in different situations, blah, blah, right? You get it. Thank you. All right. So here's the headline. I'm afraid they're going to take everything. Marine veteran gets letter from VA saying he needs to pay back $100,000. How would you like to get that today? So look, you're not in that situation. Great. That's good. Glad. I'm not in that situation. Thank goodness. But imagine if you got that letter in the mail. Just imagine that for a moment. Imagine if you have, a spouse and children, you're trying to take care, and then you get this. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm going to read through this. I haven't read it yet, so I'll stumble a bit, and so I apologize in advance. Let's move forward. All right. Thousands of low-income veterans receiving pension. Now remember, you have two veteran monetary programs. You have disability compensation, which is most of us. Okay. Then you have VA pension. It sounds like it's a retirement, and I hate that so much that they call it pension, because it sounds like VA pension is paid to a VA employee who now retired. They're receiving their VA pension. That's not what it is. Pension is a safety net program for low and no income wartime or war period veterans. Okay? It's a safety net program for wartime, war period veterans, low and no income. All right. So, thousands of low income veterans receiving pension payments from the VA are being told they were overpaid and need to pay it back. All right, moving into the article here. They served and paid their dues, but now thousands of veterans are being told they still owe the country, having collected a large sum of debt. Thousands of low-income veterans receiving pension payments from the Department of Veterans Affairs are being hit with letters saying they were overpaid and need to pay back thousands and thousands of dollars. Some say it's a stressful situation they didn't realize they were wrapped up in. Patrick McFeely is one of the few and proud. And now my thing bounced around all over the place. Bear with me. Patrick McFeely is one of the few and the proud. Outside of his Sarasota County mobile home, waves the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor alongside the flag he signed up to defend. My partner passed away, and so I decided to move down here, McFeely said, and I've been loving it down here. The U.S. Marine Corps veteran ends meet with pension payments from the VA and Social Security as he turned 62. It was like $2,400 a month, he explained. Not a lot, but enough to get by, and things were fine until a few weeks ago when McFeely got a letter in the mail. Your entitlement to compensation and pension benefits has changed. As a result, you were paid $108,000, well, $108,094 to be exact, more than you're entitled. Pat read the letter from the VA. The department says, this thing's bouncing all over the place, jeez. All right, the department says McFeely was overpaid more than $100,000, and they will withhold money from his pension each month to pay back his debt. And just so you know that oftentimes that's just how the VA does it. They will just Doesn't matter your situation. It's just, can you afford it or not? Doesn't matter. We're taking it out of your check. And in some cases, they'll just take your whole check until you pay back whatever they say you owe, which is horrendous. So you talk about, I'm just going to segue for a second. You have somebody who's actually kind of on the brink of homelessness, right? I mean, you have a low income person who's surviving and making by with the benefits that he had entitled to him, both through the Social Security, which is money that he put in for, right? Through his jobs that he had in life, and the VA pension that he qualified for. And now they're going to put him in a position to probably become homeless, which kind of goes against the whole, let's stop veteran homelessness thing. So that's pretty frustrating. All right. When I called, I got the runaround. And them saying that it's because I collect Social Security and they didn't know it, McFeely said. They said I didn't report it. But what is documented that they knew I was collecting Social Security at the time, McFeely added. On top of that, the VA notified him nearly 10 years after he began collecting. Wow! 10 years after he had been collecting Social Security. Every year, overpayments to McFeely ticked up roughly $10,000, though he had no idea there was any issue. So, the way that the VA pension works is there's a cap, right? So, the cap is set by Congress, and it's the federal poverty level based on your circumstances. So if you're just a veteran alone, it's this much. If you're a veteran with a spouse, it goes up a little bit. If you're a veteran with a spouse and 2 kids, it goes up more, right? So that's the maximum allowable amount for your pension. Then what happens is, okay, well, let's just use easy numbers here. $25,000. You can get $25,000 for your specific situation. Great. That's how much your maximum is. Do you have any income coming in? Then they go, oh, okay, you're bringing in $10,000. Now, there's some other stuff to it. There's some things that you could take out of the money, like, ongoing medical expenses. You can take that type of stuff out, and it doesn't count against you. But to use an easy way to explain it, $25,000 is the maximum. You're receiving $10,000 from over here, whatever it is. Let's say that it's Social Security. Then they go, okay, well, minus the $10,000 from your $25,000, you're left with $15,000. We're going to pay you $15,000 a year, broke down into monthly payments for VA pension. So that way, combined, your 2 sources of income, VA pension and whatever the other one is, combined to equal the maximum allowable, which in this case was $25,000. So just to kind of explain how it's supposed to work, and obviously never explained. So let's go on. So it ticked up about $10,000 every year, and he had no idea of the issue, which is very frustrating. Then he says, I'm hand to mouth. I'm going to be 72 in January, so it's a little bit late to try to collect $108,000 from me, McFeely added. He reached out to Tampa Bay to figure out what's going on. So why did the VA take so long to tell him he was being overpaid? In a statement, VA Press Secretary Terrence Hayes tells Tampa Bay that for 11 years, an issue didn't allow the department to verify the income of veterans. I don't fully believe that. I'm trying to do math in my head. I was collecting both VA compensation and all of my pay during my reserve time with the National Guard. So I was active duty Marine Corps, did my time with the Marine Corps, got out and had a break in service, then joined the Army National Guard. Halfway through that National Guard, I hurt my left eye, ended up filing a claim for that, got service connected, started collecting my VA disability in that time frame. And so I was just letting both come. I knew, though, that I wasn't supposed to collect all of both, right? I was supposed to pick one or the other. But I let them both ride. And it lasted for about maybe a year and a half or so. And then the VA caught on. This was in 2015 when I got out. So this must have been 2014. So that's 9 years ago. So 9 years ago, they didn't have a problem verifying my income. Maybe it was just on the pension side. I don't know. So just trying to say that I don't know if I fully believe what Terrence Hayes is saying. So in a statement, VA Press Secretary Terrence Hayes tells Tampa Bay that for 11 years, an issue didn't allow the department to verify the income of veterans. Sure. Between 2011 and 2022, due to discrepancies in data matching, VA was unable to reliably verify the self-reported federal income of veterans and survivors receiving pensions. Hayes said in a statement, when income verification resumed in 2022, roughly, how many? 9,900 beneficiaries were determined to have higher income levels than self-reported. Wonderful. So, this resulted in VA pension overpayments, which in some cases spanned many years. The VA provides pension payments to wartime veterans of low income, which are based on self-reported income level. Now, the self-reported income level comes after the fact. So to qualify for pension, you have to supply all of this information. Then after that, on an annual basis, apparently you are then self-reporting. So, self-reported. This resulted in the VA pension overpayments, which in some cases spanned many years. The VA provides pension payments again to wartime veterans with low income, which are based on self-reported income level. In addition to self-reporting, the department says they have traditionally verified the self-reported income using data matching. McFeely says he didn't, I think a hen's laying an egg, for those that don't know. All right. The VA provides, McFeely said he didn't report that he began collecting Social Security because he didn't know it was necessary and figured it was, if there was an issue, he would be notified, considering the entirety of his income comes from the federal agencies. At the bottom of his letter, it says how to manage financial stress. So now they want me to contact the suicide hotline, which is crazy. They're the ones that put me in this situation, McFeely added. The VA says they recognize the hardship and distress this debt may cause, so they're pausing the collection of the debts until we determine the path forward. And because this is a particularly vulnerable population of veterans and survivors, VA is pursuing all available options to provide as much pension debt relief as possible. So, here's the situation. You have to realize that this is the low and no income veterans that are receiving this. So it is a very, very slippery slope, I would say. Let's see if there's anything else in here worth going on about. What can be done is putting reforms in place to make sure this doesn't happen from the beginning, said U.S. Representative Greg, I'm not sure how to say his last name, Stube, I don't know, of Sarasota. It's Steube. The U.S. Army veteran has grilled the Social Security leadership over their own overpayment issues documented in a recent 60 Minutes report. In these cases, the representative says the federal agencies are the ones at fault. The VA says they will be conducting a review to understand why the data discrepancies happened and why it took so long to address. This is a mistake the agencies are making, the representative added. I think that a lot of people would agree. Why is this on? Why is it on the onus of the service member who, no fault of their own, didn't know that they assumed these payments were correct, and now all of a sudden they got to cut a check for $100,000? The representative took the words out of McFeely's mouth, which he said will be hard to feed if the VA expects him to pay what they say he owes. I don't know what to say, but I don't think it's right the way they treat people, McFeely added. Too much red tape. 10 Tampa Bay contacted, I have so many pop-ups popping up on this thing, contacted McFeely and the representative's office to see if there's a quicker path to relief. In the meantime, though, the debts won't be collected. But for how long is the question, right? The VA says they are also putting a pause on establishing debts for the other vets who have been overpaid. A legally required, VA established debts for these veterans and survivors, meaning the VA determined that the amount of the overpayments was due back to the VA. There are also approximately 30,000 additional veterans and survivors out there that are going to be impacted and who may have these pension debts that have not been yet established. The statement read, they encourage veterans and survivors to visit their debt management website or call the 800 number at 800-827-0648. They also say they'll be reaching out directly to the affected veterans to let them know that a debt collection has been paused. Okay, cool. So here's the situation. If you received a letter saying that you owe money to the VA, you should probably just call and verify that they have your debt collection on pause. Takes a little bit of pressure off. How long is it going to be paused? Who knows? Then, if it were me, right, we should contact our local representative's office, right, the field office for your U.S. representative, your congressional member, congressman, congresswoman, whoever. Contact them and let them know that you are in this situation, okay? You can also reach out to your senators as well and let them know. So it's one of those things, right? Yes, should we know? Should we not know as a veteran receiving these? Like, what should I report? What should I not report? I don't know what the documents look like. I don't know if it's a pre-filled. Is your income the same as this? And you're like, my income hasn't changed. Yes, and you mail it in. You also got to think about the age of some of the folks or the mental capacity. We could be dealing with folks that could have certain limitations, and they're trying to fumble through this. Look, we've all read, the best of us have read through some of the letters that we get from the VA, and half of it is just, I don't even get it, what you're trying to say here, and you got to read through it a few times in order to kind of get it in the right format. So, to fully rely on somebody who's receiving a benefit like this to be able to provide the correct data seems a little bit like you're setting people up to fail in a little bit of a weird way. So I don't know if there's a better way to do that. Maybe the requirement is, okay, every year you have to go to an accredited veteran representative and have them fill that out, and they have to sign it and send it in, or go to a local VA office, right? So either an accredited rep or a local VA office, and have somebody there actually help you fill out the form, right? That's really the second set of eyes up front, swimming upstream and taking care of it at that point in time, instead of rolling the dice every year and then having something like this happen. So I think that there's definitely some onus on the federal agencies for not being able to catch this up front. So in any case, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.